Okay, in this video, I will show you how we slice the surfaces of the lid, create the LED, create the text, the icon for the remote, and also build the yellow tag, and then how we create or add the materials. So I'm going to go back to this model to create now the label. That's the easiest one. I have another image which I will bring in. I will use that actually as a helper. So what I will do first is hide all this, show me the front, hide bodies, so I know exactly where my original image is. Then I do the same as before, attach canvas. This canvas, select the image. There's the label. I don't really have to calibrate it. Essentially, I only need to scale this one so that the devices actually look pretty much the same. I have to move this over a little bit. Plus minus. That's sufficient. Very good. Okay, so I have the side view from the top. If you look closely, there is the label cut off, so we can actually see the width. So we'll start rebuilding this label via creating a new sketch onto just that sketch plane that actually runs with that canvas we created. Then let's zoom in a little bit right there. And what we see is just an arc or curve, and half arc, sorry, half circle, and another curve. So to build this, let's go to sketch and then fit point spline. I start somewhere here, put a point there, and put a point there. Then I zoom in a little bit more, press escape. So now I can drag actually these points to there. Very good. Then let's create another from there, the inside to there, to we could actually click on this just to make it better. I will, or not better, to prevent any issues, I click close next to it. Okay, so that all looks good. Now we have to create the bend. To do this, we can go to the arc command, 3-point arc, click to the endpoints, and then I move the circle out, let's say like this. Very good. And obviously the transition from the circle to the lines is G0. That's terrible. We want to at least make this tangent. So press escape, click the tangent constraint and say the circle should be tangent to the blue line, not the green handle. And then one more, the circle, and again, no, this line or spline. Very good. And you see how everything changed. That's fine. All we need to do is reposition the start and end points of our arc via the midpoint. When we select it and then press M, we can drag this sometimes around, not always. Fusion is a little bit annoying there sometimes. So I'll try to get this to there. Okay, so that's very good. An alternative element, instead of using the arc, is actually using another spline. So go to fit point spline, click, click, click. Okay. Then go to tangent and say U to U, and this one to that one. And what's easier with this approach is this is not a cylinder. We're actually rebuilding some soft fabric, so we don't really need an arc necessarily, representing a perfect arc. And you see here we can make this look a little bit more like a soft, good material. Doesn't look so perfectly geometric. Okay, so in that case, actually, you see that approach with the arc looks better. It's also easier to manipulate. Stop sketch. I have to show that sketch, and now we have to extrude this as a patch. So you go to patch mode, extrude, select all this, go to the top view. Then I simply drag this one out till I see actually it line up with the image. It should go both directions. So I go to directions and select symmetry, each side the same. There we see they shrink perfectly the same. Click OK. Now you might ask yourself, well, why did we trace actually more the inside, not the center? The stuff has a material thickness. We will create that thickness now and will grow to the outside. So to make the volume match up with actually the label volume, we started tracing the inside border. So now via thicken, we can create the volume. And then you see here, we just grow it to the outside. We could also obviously also have traced the outside, then we would grow it to the inside. So it's up to you how you want to do this. I don't know, maybe 0.25 millimeters. Very good. If we want to get the fabric there closer together, we are now actually free to maybe move this point up a little bit so it overlaps there, not overlaps, nearly overlaps. Very good. So this body 11, that's just the surface we created. That one, right click, we can remove. We don't need it anymore because we just created the volume for, or the solid model for that label. Also, again, never forget to use sketches. I will pay attention to when I collect actually the files that sketches are named, because it's if you don't do this, as I said, with 2 sketches, not a big deal, but if you have later a design with 10, 20 sketches, it's difficult to understand what sketch 5 or whatever, for example, is. So that part is done. The parts we have modeled. The rest that's left now is how do we create the top part? That's pretty easy. Before we continue, let's hide actually our bodies. Can hide the sketch. The top canvas I would like to see. Now I will make another construction plane from the ground, slightly up. You saw actually I got this warning like an object being invincible. That's because I created a new construction with this folder being invisible, so I can't really see it, but it will be there. I move this one to roughly there. Very good. Then create a new sketch on this yellow plane. And to create now this inner offset, I have to project the outside edge of my model into a sketch, and then that projected outline I can offset. You did that in class already. I just will repeat this one more time. So I can go to project, either select each individual edge, or you can also select just this face. Then that projects it up. Then we can press O or go to offset, select this one, and then we offset this one as needed. Looks like 2 millimeters. Very good. So how do we do now the Roku? I will continue actually modeling the sketch and then do all the surface slicing. To make the Roku easier to see, I hide the bodies. Essentially, we have lines and circles and some splines. And this is a good exercise to continue learning the constraint system and the sketching. So we can start simply via a line and pick somewhere an easy start like this. Go down, go over. You see I go to the right, go up, go over to the right, go down, go to there, there. Then click and drag to make an arc. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So I press escape, delete that arc, go back to the line, and then I click from here to there, click and drag an arc down. That works easier. If you find this dragging out an arc is too complicated, I press escape, select the arc, delete it. I can just put that arc in by hand there. Click, click, push it out as needed. I want this arc to be tangent to this line. That's all actually, by the way, a line can do to an arc. Only a curve can be G2, so curvature smooth. An arc can only be G1 maximum. Okay, so that looks good. You see the arc is not perfectly fitting actually the shape. So what can we do? I press escape. So I exit the constraint tool, and then I click this point and push it over. Click this, push this over. Yeah, okay. We're close, so let's say for a governmental job, that's fine. Let's do the inside, and that's again align, 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 and then an arc. I want all edges to be tangent, so I added this one again, press escape. Select the correct arc points. There's that one, and then I move this one till it fits. There we are. Very good. So before we continue, you see here the software added a lot of auto constraints. This is vertical. This is perpendicular to this line. This one is perpendicular to this line. And this is parallel to this line because this is vertical, and this is perpendicular to there. This one is perpendicular to there. This one is perpendicular to there. That one is horizontal, vertical, horizontal. And because this one is parallel to that line, this line is also horizontal. And then these two are parallel, so that the angle is the same for this line. Now, what I want to make sure is that the height, however, is the same between these two. And one of the easiest ways is simply select 2 points and then say horizontal constraint. You see it snaps it together. I could also draw a line, make the line construction, and then make that line horizontal. Then I have to move this one, in this case, back up. Works too, but it's kind of cumbersome and adds way too much. So point, horizontal, it makes actually these points together horizontal. The reason why this is very useful is when we later work on the K and the U. Let's maybe start the K. I will do this from there to there to there, go over, go up. You see the software snaps, in my case, these lines to be parallel. I draw it one time on purpose, so it's not parallel. And then I show you how I can fix all that stuff. Also here I make a mistake. There, 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 and there. I would just leave it at this point. So this line and this line I would like to be parallel. Select the two lines, parallel. Select the two lines, parallel. This should be vertical, horizontal. These two, I want to be vertical to each other. Then this point can go down. This point can go down. This edge can go down. These 2 points, horizontal. And now to make the K and the R to the same, I select these 2 endpoints, horizontal constraint. See, not really complicated. Now, since we're working on the U, let's finish this. I press Escape to stop the constraint system. I will draw myself here these 2 lines, and then I draw a line there, 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 and there. Curious actually if this line is parallel to that line. Nope, it's not parallel. Okay, and we can simply keep it that way. So that's not an arc, that's actually a spline. Before we continue, let's make sure actually that these points here are horizontal and these points are horizontal, and that makes sure that all these upper lines are at the same height. To now put in the missing curves, we go back to fit point. Here's a little trick. If you click and drag, you see there's a red dashed line. And if you release your mouse and then click, it adds actually the first point being tangent. So let's do the same, click and bring it to there and say okay. Then this one I will bring to there. Oh, this is incorrect. I don't know how that happened. And all I need to do is, if I select this spline, select this point, press M, and drag this one down. Click this point, click this green handle, drag that one down there. That's much better, and looks to me this one I have to push back up. Or what I will show you in this case, you see they switched from green to, come on, show me. They switch from green to this cyan color. If I select the handle, right click, I could say deactivate tangent handle, and then see the one is back green. Because I push the point out, I can actually now manipulate this, and maybe this one has to rather go a little bit further up. There we are. So that means here, this point I will leave alone. I will only go to here, select this point, drag it, and then this way I make that handle selectable, and I can move it around. There are my arcs. Very nice. So let's go to the O. That one is a very difficult shape because essentially it's just a circle somewhere from here. Oh, was pretty good. There. And then the last thing is an ellipse. It's actually not really the center, I think. So you see it's a little bit above. It actually makes the lower part of the ellipse a little bit thicker. So ellipse. I draw this ellipse somewhere here on purpose. So line down. That's the vertical orientation. Click and then go to the right or the side. That's a width. Now what I will do is I press Escape. This point I move to here. Select this point and then say you to be vertically aligned. And now I can move this one down, maybe to there, move this point down. And you see then that actually adjusts the ellipse for me. Very good. And we are clicking on these points of the line. I can adjust also the size of the ellipse. Very good. Now, how do we do the plus? Plus basically is a rectangle. Actually, I want to go back to here for a second and just verify. Yeah, it's kind of like the height of the R. So we can select this point and say line up and line up. But these edges are actually rounded on that remote, as you can see. So how do we do this? Welcome to the fillet command. So we click fillet under sketch, click this edge, 2 millimeters maybe, and then we right click and say repeat fillet. See, this way you can call actually the previous menu or command, right click, U and U, 2, whoops, 2 please. And if I right click and select this again instead of OK, it actually finishes the previous command and jumps right into the fillet command again and enter. Now the radius is too big, so I could adjust this to 1 instead of having to do this with the other 3. Double click, click the 1, enter, double click, click the first one, enter, and there. Now you see the whole thing adjusted a little bit, which is not good. So this point, maybe I'm going to move down and I want to line this up again. So this point to this point and this point to this point, giving that an horizontal constraint that pushed this one down. I don't approve of that. There. And let's make this a little bit wider. Very good. That looks pretty decent. Then we have to put in the plus icon. We can do this easily via the rectangle command. So, but how do we find where's the midpoint? So I will draw first myself a line. See here from this midpoint down. It helps me to understand where the midpoint is. And press escape, select this line, and then I say here be construction. Then I can go to the rectangle center, click at this point, drag my rectangle out, and let's say the height is 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we do this again. Rectangle from there, from that center point, 3 to tab 1 and enter. Okay, that looks pretty fine, but now we have all these lines inside there I want to get rid of. Let's trim this away. So here we have the trim command inside the sketch, and all we need to do is click, 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 click. There are some warnings on the lower right corner. Ignore those. The sketch engine solves all the issues for us. There we are. Press escape, so we stop the command. The main reason for doing it this way is there you see we have the individual surfaces we can select. Click stop, sketch, and now we are ready to slice the top face. So we can work from the outside to the inside. We can be in sketch or in model, it doesn't matter. The commands sometimes are the same because here we split just the face. So this face we split via this inner offset. So that's what we had in class. Very good. And then we simply continue again. This face split with this one, right click this via that one, right click, and then U, yeah. Then one more time, and then the R, we split via the small opening of the R, right click, U, this one more time, the filling there, and the last cut, yeah, the K and U. Then we can hide this. There, we're good. That looks pretty nice. I would like to create a small LED there. Two ways how to do this. I can create another construction plane, push that one to there, and then put the sketch on it, and then split the face, so these two. I could actually, so let's say Roku text, ports. I could actually put this into there too. So let's see. Yeah, very good. The command for that, instead of using a rectangle and then rounding everything, here we use the slot tool. There are different ways how we can create it. I will use this one. So from there to there, maybe this high. Yeah, that looks good. Escape. Triple click, select everything, press M, and then we just move it to where we want it to be. Let's say there, that's good. Because we drew it on actually the backs sketch, that's not going to be an issue because we will only split these two front faces. So split face, U and U, via this sketch. Okay, there we are. See? Some people might argue, well, this is not very good practice because we are including two sketches for two different design details into one sketch. Technically speaking, that's true. But we're learning the software. At the same time, you're a designer, so you should know how did you structure everything. And my argument for modeling this in one sketch is simply we don't have 10 sketches. We can easily put the stuff together, and the modeling tools then, as you can see, won't prevent us from slicing the front faces even when the sketch was actually on the back. So all the sketching stuff is done, and the last thing we have to do now is add the materials. So welcome to the material stuff, which is one of the main reasons why we sliced everything. We can go to appearances or press A. And then let's move this one up and move this one down. There we have plastic. For example, we have ABS, opaque, textured, translucent, transparent, roofing. Interesting. Stone, wood, fabrics. There are some basic materials there. What I would like to do is add a glossy material to everything. Besides this, we'll get matte finish, and then this will get kind of like a fabric and has kind of like the typical Roku color. So let's start with the fabric first. You can go to fabric. There are different types. Here I will simply push the white fabric onto this object. So left mouse button, click and drag. And you see then it got added to it. I would like to adjust this color. Right click, edit, click advanced. Then for parameters for image, here we select color There's our color wheel, and we can select this color. Okay. And then we can click apply and okay. The scale for that fabric, the woven stuff is too big. So let's close this, right click, edit. And you see now here it has a scale. And if I move this one up or down very gently, it scales the fabric pattern. So let's say that's good. That was easy. Now, how do we do the plastic? I will use a different color. The main or the real device is actually black, and that's difficult to see the differences right now. If I use a brighter color, it's easier to see. So let me go to opaque, and here I will select the glossy and put this one onto the whole object. So there it's a glossy plastic. Nice. And now I would like to add a color just to this area. So let's go to textured, and I have random. So this one I will drag, but then you see, wow, it applies it to everything. Let's drag this one back, and to only add the material to this particular face, select apply to mode, switch to face, and then I just drag the random to there, drag the random to that opening, and maybe I have to zoom in more. There, very good. Now I would like to adjust the color and also the scale of the structure. So right click, edit. Here again, we can adjust the scale, and then we can also play with the color here. And let's click close. And that's how we create very basic materials and assign it to an object, so the body, or individual faces. We have to do the LAD. So press A to pop up the materials again. Where is the light stuff? Emissive, yep. Display LCD. Do I have any LED stuff? Oh yeah, we can just use this one here for the second. And this is set to there. And drag this one to there. Ta-da! Very good. Okay.